Hello everyone, welcome back. Thank you so much for joining me. Hope everyone is doing well. So listen, I don't know what's happened to me this week. It was something about this week and actually last week where my brain has just been inside itself. And I, even now, like, I don't know what I'm saying. Just everything I do seems to be really crap. So what I'm going to do for you guys today, I'm going to take it nice and slow. I'm just going to sit here with you guys, have a nice time, calm. I've been watching ghost stories on YouTube this morning, so I feel really calm. That calms me down. Although I want to be like in a calm state, I've chosen to do a video about products that I don't like. So recently I did a video that was like, don't buy these products. These are products where actually I'm like, okay, I didn't like them the first time round, and they've kind of played on my mind a little bit, and I've been like, I want to like these products. So second chances. Everyone deserves a second chance, unless you've done something really illegal. I'm going to talk about them as I go. There are some products that I actually like that I'm going to use in this because I don't have a version of a product that I don't like, if that makes sense. So yes, anyway, you know my intro. Subscribe. Okay. Should we just? Okay. There's two products in here that I have spoke about recently, so sorry for repetition, but I'm trying to give them another go. This is the Revolution Pore Perfecting Primer. So I used this primer one time and I used it, I didn't feature it in the video, I used it just to prep my skin because I was doing a video where I was already wearing makeup. Let me just tell you, I'm not exaggerating when I say I was powdering my face every one minute, 2 minutes. It was ridiculous. And I did all my skin like I usually do. I have a skincare routine before my makeup, that's the usual. And nothing changed. But this primer just didn't work. So I'm thinking maybe I used too much, maybe, I don't know. So I'm just going to take a tiny little bit on my spatula here. So I'm going to use kind of like a smaller amount. But here's the thing, what I don't understand is e.l.f. Putty Primer is an amazing primer. I really like it. I know that's meant to be like a more affordable version of the Tatcha product, but to me it's kind of become like its own great product. It's a drugstore product, it's drugstore price, but it's great quality. So how come Revolution have got this so wrong? Here's my issue with Revolution, right? I feel like sometimes they're so quick to copy products, but it's like, how about you concentrate on making good quality products that you're proud of, that are your own? Because yes, people want a more affordable version of something, but instead of like just telling people, or not even telling people because they don't tell people, but instead of just being like, oh look, we have a version of this, how about you make a really good quality product? Because they're hit or miss a lot of the time. So I'm really going to make sure I'm pushing this into my skin. I know I look a little bit harsh. I'm not pushing that hard. My skin just goes really red whenever I touch it. I can get right in my crevices here. And another thing I really like about the e.l.f. primers, the regular e.l.f. Putty Primer and the mattifying one are really great. I done a video of e.l.f. products, a whole face of e.l.f. products where I use both their primers. It works with my skin texture where it's slightly dry around here and oily everywhere else. So I'm just gonna make sure I'm really getting that into the skin, make sure it sits right. It does still feel like it has this layer on my skin, which I don't want. As an oily person, I want it to be part of my skin, if that makes sense. I don't want it to be like an extra layer sitting on my skin. Okay, anyway, I'm going to start with the eyes first because the palette I'm using is quite bright and colourful, so I don't want any fall down. So I'm going to go in with my eye primer first. This is from Viseart, and I did feature this recently in a video. Again, don't buy these products. Here's my issue. When I spoke about that product, a lot of people said to me it's great as a base for like glitter and things like that, but it also kind of got into my head that I think maybe I used too much. I didn't like it because it was really sticky. Primers are great when they're really tacky and sticky, but this was to a point where it was almost like, what's that tape? Is it called fly tape? Or like, you know, where you touch it and you're stuck. Like product wouldn't move, it wouldn't blend because it physically couldn't move. And that just got in my mind, was like, hey, maybe I used a little bit too much. So I'm gonna use a small amount just because I think I just went in with way too much. I'm gonna use a fluffier brush just because it applies product a lot softer than like a denser brush or my fingertip. But I will also just gently kind of tap the lid just so I can feel how much product is on there. I think that might be enough. I just almost want like a veil of product. And Viseart as well is one of my absolute favorite brands. They're amazing. If you're a professional makeup artist and you want some good palettes, I have all three of their pro palettes in my kit. And I have some of their smaller palettes in my personal kit, like my YouTube kit, and they're really, really amazing products. So when I saw this eye primer, I was like, I have to have it. I'm just going to tap with my finger and just make sure it's all kind of melted into the skin. Just before I get into my eye makeup, I just want to go with another product from Revolution. I saw this and I was like, oh my god, what a crazy invention. And this is basically a tiny little brush on the end with like a pomade inside. It's already spilling out. So that's my one issue, is it kind of, you click and it just keeps going. So I used this before, and in my brows it was just too jet black and matte and just looked really fake. Here's the deal with trying to get like a good shape from these kind of products, is they kind of cover every single hair, even if you don't realize that hair's there, you know? So you get this really oddly shaped brow because it's picking up on every single hair. I'm just gonna gently buff it through my brows. See, there's something about the colour, it's just so, I mean, this is black, fine, but this is pitch black, matte and dry looking. Like, I really don't like it. Even brows have dimension to them. Like, hair has dimension. It's not just one solid flat colour. Even, look, I haven't even done too much on the inside bits here and it just looks too heavy. And of course I've used like brows gels that have colour to them, or brow mascaras, whatever, and I'm not a big fan of them anyway because of that exact reason. Especially with darker eyebrows, you have to be careful. Lighter eyebrows, they look really, really good. But I just find it's just too black. It's way too black. It looks kind of dumb. Maybe when I have a little bit more makeup on, it will be okay. I feel like it needs to be combed through a lot more. That kind of, it's not really, you know, that brush kind of texture on top. It's just so, I don't know, it's so dense, and I don't believe that it will comb through your brow hairs properly. Okay, so the eyeshadow palette we're using today, I'm so sorry, Revolution, but I'm really digging at you today. But I am using a product, but I like up yours later. This is a Revolution and Alexis Stone Instinct palette. Let me just tell you about this palette. I actively went looking for this palette. I wanted it in my life because I saw it and I was like, incredible. This is the palette here if you haven't seen it already. All the shades are matte, and then I have the shimmers that go with it, kind of like to transform the oh, it's called the transformation palette. So my thinking with buying this, whether or not you like Alexis Stone as a person, we can all admit that Alexis Stone is an incredible makeup artist. Unreal. Absolutely amazing. So I thought this palette was really thought through well. It was like a really great idea, and I don't like Revolution eyeshadows sometimes, but I have some of their palettes that I really, really like, and their collaboration palettes always seem to be a better quality than their regular palettes, if that makes sense. I bought this one thinking, amazing, Alexis Stone is a true artist, it'll be amazing, amazing quality. I used the grey shades of the first time I used this, and oh my god, it was a mess. It was so dry. The texture was terrible. It didn't blend. And I've blended eyeshadow before, so it isn't like I was doing something different. The same eyeshadow base I used, the same brushes, everything. I tried with different bases. I tried with different brushes. I tried with artificial hair, real hair, all the different options. I've never experienced an eyeshadow texture or product like this. I've been doing makeup professionally, as in it's been my paid profession for 12 years, and I've never experienced such frustration with an eyeshadow palette. But I really, really want to like it because it looks amazing, it looks incredible. If you're starting to experiment with your own makeup, what a great palette to have. All these colours, every colour's there. So I do really, really want to like it. I did get on really well with the Transformation palette. I really, really liked this one on top of other eyeshadows. So let's do it, let's go in. And let me just say, guys, I don't know, if you know me, you know purple is my colour. Using the purples from this, it wasn't great. Okay, I'm gonna try and do like a reddy pink thing today. So I'm gonna start with this kind of pinky red in this top corner here. When I was using the greys before, it was fine like putting on the first few colours, but then the colours actually didn't go very well when used on top of each other or blended into each other. They just kind of merged to form either one like weird colour or a not so nice colour. So let me take my time with this. And this is the thing as well, if you've seen some of my like palette reviews before, one of the main things I look for, like a palette may not be the best quality I've ever used. It may not have the strongest pigmentation, but if I enjoy using that palette and I want to use it again and again and I can't wait to use it again, then I know it's a good palette, you know, because they've inspired me or you know, made me kind of like addicted to that product. Whereas this one, I was like, you know what, I've tried and I just can't. See, that pigment goes on really, really bright, and then you blend it off and look, it just makes like one color. So to me, there's not enough color difference. That's my thing. So what I just used to do that cut crease was Revolution's Cut Crease Canvas, which is a really great product. So that's not a product I hate. That's actually a product I really, really like. This is this. Do I risk putting in like a blue? I'm gonna take that brighter kind of blue and just tap. So I know I always use purple, but I'm actually gonna have to use purple in the outside corner to fade this blue into this red. Do a little bit just here. Okay, so then I'm going to use the Transformation palette, which I actually like, and I'm going to use that on the inside corner just to give it a little bit of sparkle. I mean, I'm actually not mad at it now. I think what I did. Here's my excuse. I think the first time I used it, I really fucked up. I don't think matte greys, and especially like more affordable brands, trying to do them is a little bit of a dodgy situation. So I don't think that was the best shade to use. And then I think I must have gone in the second time with this thought in my mind of this product has defeated me and I can't use it. Whereas now I actually quite like it. I'm just gonna use a liner. This is from Colourpop. This is one I really, really like, so ignore me using this. I don't have an eye pencil that I despise. I think a lot of them just work. The ones that I buy, I always make sure I buy water resistant or waterproof or something like that, so they last really well on the eye. Okay, I'm going to do lashes last. I'm just going to apply some concealer, and I'll do lashes and everything like that afterwards. Again, I haven't found a concealer that I really don't like, so I'm just going to use a little bit of my regular concealer that I do like. Actually, what I've just noticed is I actually don't have as much fallout from the eyeshadow that I thought I would. And actually, there isn't any. Okay, let's go in with foundation. So this is a brand I don't feature a lot on my channel, only the eye base, the paint pots, and this is MAC. This is the Studio Fix Stick Foundation. I used to wear this almost every single day. My issue with this foundation is the way it sits on the skin. It claims that it's okay for most skin types, but the way it sits on the skin, especially on mine, it gets in every pore, it gets in every crease. And I just don't like it. But what I thought I'll do is I'll use it with this brush, the Sigma Flat Angled Kabuki, just because I find it has just the right pressure and density to kind of almost mimic like a beauty blender, but you can actually blend with it, whereas a beauty blender kind of just packs product on the skin. This can actually blend. And for a stick foundation, I always think that people think sticks are going to be really, really heavy coverage. And this one isn't so much. Okay, the texture isn't so bad. And let's just go back to that primer. I haven't noticed my skin becoming excessively oily or anything just yet, so that's good. Let's see how it acts now with a bit of foundation on. Let's take a look at blush. So I'm going to go for the e.l.f. blusher. This is the primer infused blush, and the shade Always Earthy. Now, one thing I didn't like about this is it kind of moved a lot. Most blushes, you take a little bit on your brush and you kind of just buff it in place, everything's fine. This one seemed to travel around the face. So what I'm gonna do is give it another chance, and I'm gonna use a tiny, tiny amount at a time. So I'm just gonna tap, a lot of dust comes off it as well, and then tap off a lot of excess product. See, I'm not using that much, so the pigmentation is really, really strong. Let's see where I'm keeping my brush and it's getting up there. So I'm taking my brush quite low down over my beard, because last time I used this, it kind of just kept going up the face, and that's not what I wanted. Okay, that's not as bad. I don't know whether it's something about the formula with a primer in it that makes it more of a slippy, silkier texture. With blushes, either you want a cream that's going to grip to the skin or you want a powder that's going to grip, you know? Whereas this seems to be like almost like a silky powder, which is great for like a finishing powder or a setting powder, but for blush, not so much. Okay, I can deal with that. Okay. That's not bad. You have to be very careful of your application process. I think that's all it is. Concentrate it precisely in the area, and I would actually maybe go for a smaller brush. This is quite big. So I don't have a bronzer that I don't like, well, that I own anyway. So I'm just gonna touch up with a tiny bit of bronzer just very quickly. Can I just point out quickly just how important blush placement is? I have a really long face, and you'll notice that I just followed my cheekbone with that blush. It makes my face look even longer. I should have came across this angle more, but I just didn't want to apply too much of that blush. It's just a quick, like, you know, public service announcement. Okay, so let's go in with some highlighter. God, my nose looks really long. Okay, so let's talk about highlighter. So this was gifted to me in a way that I chose what I got, if that makes sense. This is from Holika, which is a Korean brand. And this is the Jelly Me highlighter. So I didn't like this highlighter because of the texture. Mainly one, it's a jelly, which I find kind of useless with highlighters, but also the highlighter is literal chunks of glitter. I hate glitter. I think it doesn't look like highlight, it looks like glitter on the face. So I'm gonna try again. I used my finger before, which is quite dense. Not that I have dense fingers. I guess I do. I don't know. Doesn't matter. I'm going to use quite a fluffy brush, one that isn't going to apply the product too thick and heavy. Sorry, I'm not looking at my camera. I'm trying to find a brush. I'm just going to use an eyeshadow blending brush. I'm going to take a tiny little bit. So it's like a jelly texture. So even when you put your brush in, you kind of have to dig in there to get some out. And I'm going to apply, not on the tip so much, but on the side. So I can kind of just push that onto the skin. So catch the light. See where you want your highlight to go. No, I can't. It's literal just chunks of glitter. And here's the thing, like highlighter can make your skin look textured anyway. But look, when I move my head, it just looks like texture. It looks like uneven texture. Let's try and warm that up with a finger. Not that you can warm up chunks of glitter, but... And you know, nothing against like jelly highlighters, because you can get some really nice like metallic-y ones that don't have random chunks of glitter in them. This is actually one of the worst highlighters I think I've ever used. Yeah, awful. It just doesn't melt with the skin either. It kind of leaves this like layer on top. And even when you use your finger, it's not any better. Look, can you see on my nose? You can just catch like random bits of glitter. Oh, awful. And I have big pores on my nose. That's not what I want. That's still a no. That's definitely a no. Still looking at my skin, and the primer actually isn't that bad. Okay, we'll do a rundown in a minute. So I'm just gonna go in now with a loose powder just on my nose in the middle of my forehead to mattify slightly. So this is the Milk Makeup Blur and Set Powder, and it's translucent medium is the shade. I found this to be very, you know when you use one of those powders where you put it on your face and suddenly your whole face looks darker and drier? Because the powder getting like a little bit of moisture makes the powder look darker and a bit darker. So it came with this sponge, which I absolutely wouldn't recommend for it. I do love the open packaging, and it has like this whole mesh situation going on. I'm gonna use an even lighter brush than what I used last time. This is the Spotlight Duster brush from Sigma, and the word duster is literally what I want. I want a dusting of that product, because I just found it kind of interfered with my foundation too much last time. And it was the Milk foundation that I used it with. It was in my Whole Face of Milk video. That's much better. Much, much better. Okay. So nothing's changed in colour on my skin. That's great. Okay, that's actually really nice. Okay. Whew. See, I knew it. I knew Milk couldn't make a mistake. Like, I knew it had to be usable. Okay, let's get some lashes on. Again, I don't have many lashes that I hate, so I'm just gonna whack on some that I know I like. So I just put my lashes on it, and I realized I did have lashes that I hated, but now I'm definitely not going back. But let me just show you these magnetic lashes that you can get with a magnetic liner. Great idea, great kind of like, idea. But if you wanted to use that liner as a whole liner across the length of the lid, it's almost like those magnets pull off the liner gradually, and like the liner's pulled towards the magnets, because you get like little dips and a really jagged edge. You can do the most perfect straight liner, and it looks terrible. The only thing I would think of doing is to do your liner like normal with a separate liner, then grabbing that one and maybe dotting where the magnets are. But okay, I totally forgot. So this is a whole look using products that I kind of want to give a second chance, and actually I'm not hating any of them apart from the highlighter. The biggest surprise for me is this eyeshadow palette. I have been a little bit bitter towards this palette because I really wanted it to work for me, because I really like the concept of a palette, like these like all these colors and this transformation palette. And actually I actually really like it now. I'm really pleasantly surprised. Yeah, I take my words back on that. Really, really nice. I just think I needed to be in the right headspace, and this is the same with all makeup. Sometimes you just have your days where you're like, I can't do this today. Foundation actually looks fine. I'm just taking a look at my pores, and we're looking good. The primer is also doing okay today. I think I maybe just used a little bit too much. Same with the lid primer, the Viseart eye primer. I used a little bit too much. The brows now look fine with a lot of product. However, it isn't something I would use by itself because it's just way too deep. And usually if I have a brow product with some color in it, like a brow gel, it's because I'm not going to use a pencil to shape in my brows. So that day I want something that's going to sculpt slightly. Blusher, I'm okay with. That powder, lovely. I'm so happy it works with a finer brush and not something too dense. Thank you so much, guys. That was good. I think I might do that, even if it's just by myself. Regularly try products that I'm not feeling so much. Maybe when I'm in a different headspace, and maybe when I kind of take my time and enjoy doing my makeup. I sometimes feel like when there's it's not a pressure because I really like doing it, but when there's the thing of, okay, I need to do makeup today, I need to post a video today, and I need to have it done, I get kind of like a little bit like, oh my god, in my head, and I don't think it through. Whereas this, I took my time, everything was great, we're all good. All right, guys, thank you so much for joining me. I appreciate your company. I hope you're all doing well. I will see you on Friday and Sunday, and then Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Sunday. Have an amazing day, night, wherever you are, whatever you're doing. Thanks again, guys. I will see you soon. Bye.